Welcome to Friday Night Pine and another week where Antonio is creating headlines and talking points and keeping us going and having stuff to talk about with West Ham. He's come out and said he backs himself against Liverpool and backs West Ham to finish above Liverpool this season. Lots of controversy about that. Fans divided on if he should say it, if he shouldn't have said it or not. So we're going to give our opinions and really get into it. Preview the Liverpool game, of course. Big game on Sunday. And we're going to be obviously talking a bit about last night's offering in Europe, 16 unbeaten. You know, we're going to go for it. So, yeah, no Scott tonight, no Nicky's at Stag doing scaredness. You're stuck with me and Ryan, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you, mate. No Graham either. Don't forget about Graham.
Oh, yeah, Graham. Well, that's the thing. He's a part-time. You never know when you're going to get Graham. It's just a surprise. It's a pleasant surprise when he turns up.
You know we're struggling when Graham turns up.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yeah, it was enjoyed going to the game last night. Apart from the weather, it's good to get over the London Stadium because we've only had 2 home games so far this season. But yeah, no, I'm all right. You? Hey, how was your little trip away?
Yeah, mate. Lake District was it was good. It was exhausting. Like I said, I didn't get back till after kickoff yesterday, but it was great. Beautiful place, mountain climbing, all sorts of stuff. Loved it, but yeah, recovering now because that was up them bloody mountains and trying to avoid the sheep shit. You know.
Yeah, so, you know what? I've never been there. Never been there. Like,
yeah, beautiful.
Everyone that's been there says it's really nice and beautiful. So
yeah. It makes you really appreciate this country and what we've got. You know, a lot of the time you go away for all of this beautiful scenery, but we've got it on our doorstep. You know.
100%, mate. People are saying in the chat, get Brian back if you're struggling. We did ask Brian, but he weren't available tonight. So, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Listen, we're always going to ask Brian. We love Brian. Yeah. We love having him on the show. But, you know, it was Brian's got stuff to do tonight. So hopefully Brian's having a brilliant night this evening. But I'll be glad to know you're all thinking of him. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we'll pass on your messages.
Absolutely. Yeah, all right, shall we get straight into it? I'll read out Antonio's comments and then we'll dive right in. And then, of course, we'll be getting some of your opinions in the chat. But he says, I'm backing myself over Liverpool. You know what? I think we're going to finish higher than Liverpool this season. I'm putting it out there. I watched the game, Liverpool 3-1 Wolves, because it was before our game and Wolves could have run away with it. They had quite a few opportunities. We got them this weekend and it's a 6-pointer. We've got them, was how we said it with an exclamation mark, as in like, yeah, we got this. Divided, mate. Like a lot of really split the fan base in terms of, oh, he's done his team talk for, you know, Liverpool's team talk for them. He shouldn't be saying it. Some people saying, back yourself, back the team. Like, where do you fall on it, mate?
Yeah, look, I love my players having ambition, and I back him on the Wolves game because I watched the first start for the Wolves game in the fan zone last week, and Wolves were all over, and Wolves could have been 2 or 3 up. So, but Liverpool are unbeaten in their last 16 games in the Premier League. They're grinding out results. They're a team that have gone under the radar. No one's really talking about them as winning the league, but they're just going about their business. They've got some top quality players, but yeah, look, Antonio sees the squad day in, day out, so he knows that we have got some talent in that team. But for him to come out and say that, yeah, he's got to perform there on Sunday. He's got to go to Anfield and he's got to prove to us that we've got to believe in what he's saying. And maybe he should change his name to Anthony. Oh, my God, why did you say that?
Well, that's it. Like, because he's, you know, you talk like that. And like, I agree with you. You want to see your players. Because if he'd said the opposite and go like, oh, you know, we're, you know, going to really struggle against Liverpool. They're much better than us and we'll be lucky to finish anywhere near them. People will go, the shit mentality, lack of ambition, blah, blah, blah. But you could take a step too far, right? And if he don't perform on Sunday, then he's you know, really set himself up for a lot of banter and a lot of fans to get on his back. And, you know, again, you say stuff like that, it can come back to bite you in the arse. And I think that's the only thing is that people are looking at that. You know?
Yeah, you just know that the Liverpool players have obviously heard that and seen that. And now they're going to be on the pitch. Every time he makes a mistake, they're going to be in his ear going, well, coming in. I thought you was better than us. I thought you were going to finish above us. and it could wind Antonio up, and it could go the completely wrong way. But look, listen, there's nothing wrong with having a bit of confidence.
Do you think like it can? There is a lot of talk, and so many people said this. That's Liverpool's team talk done. Do you think like Liverpool players look at that and go, "Oh, look what he said. Right, let's show him." Or do you think they're just like, they just play the way they play and it don't affect them, in terms of what he's saying?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, really. I mean, players will listen to that. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp will listen to that. I'm not sure if they mentioned it in his press conference today. I haven't heard anyone from Liverpool mention about it. But look, Liverpool, like I said, the way they're playing this season, they're going under the radar a bit. They're playing with confidence. They've got some good... We always struggle. I think we've won there once in our last 54 games going to Anfield. So it's not a happy hunting ground for us. I think we've only won once there in my lifetime and your lifetime, and probably a majority of the West Ham fan base's lifetime. So we need to be at our best on Sunday, and we have to hope that Liverpool, are not on form. But yeah, I do agree. It's sort of, it could play into their hands a bit. And sometimes I listen, I love Antonio. I think he's a great character. I see his podcast he done with Callum Wilson the other day, and they was having that little bit of back and forth banter about the Champions League, and he was going, I'll let you know how the Champions League goes because you played in a Tin Pot European Cup. And Antonio was going, well, at least I've won a European trophy. So he's a likable character, but he's just got to start backing up. But it's funny how he come out with that statement after he just signed a new deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. He's feeling extra positive and extra ambitious now. He signed a new deal, and there was obviously a lot of talk of him going to Saudi Arabia and all of that, and now he's stayed with us. And it's probably likely he's going to be in testimonial years. Although at West Ham, you've got to pay for your own testimonials nowadays.
Yeah. Apparently. I think it's quite nice that he's going to look like he's going to end his career with a football club. I think he's been a big part of what we've done, especially over the last couple of years. And he's been a great servant for the club. He's our record Premier League goal scorer. He scored some important goals for us. So I think look, it just shows you how important he is as a player, because we had to bring him off the bench last night to beat Baka Topola. So yeah, he was needed last night because Danny Ings didn't offer nothing up front. He was running around like a cat chasing a laser pin. He was just didn't do anything. So
yeah, that's it. And he started pretty well, Antonio. He ain't banged in the goals as much, as you'd hope, but I think he's been effective, and he's playing well. He's creating opportunities for other players. So look, I think he can say whatever he wants as long as he backs it up on the pitch. That's how I look at it. Sunday now, I want to see one of the best Antonio performances in recent memory. I want to see him go out and give everything on the pitch, because otherwise it's just noise. Otherwise you're just talking for the sake of talking to have a little bit of banter and a little bit of content for your podcast. I want to see him back it up, and that's the thing. So now the scrutiny is going to be on him, because fans are going to be looking at him closely and saying, okay, Antonio, let's see what you got. Let's see what you're doing. If he puts in anything less than, his best, there's going to be questions asked of him. And that comment will be brought back up,
Yeah, 100%. But look, as I said, like, I've got no problem with... It's nice that players have ambition, and he feels that with the squad we've got, what he sees in training every day is that we have got the players that maybe could push the teams like Liverpool and maybe try to break in that top six. But you've got to perform week in, week out. You can't just do it because you're going to Anfield. You've got to do it when you're playing at home to Sheffield United, when you're going to Nottingham Forest. You've got to do it every single week. So, he's got a lot of he's put a lot of pressure on himself. But one thing I like about Antonio, and I think he proved it last week, even when he's not scoring goals, he still worries defenders. As soon I think when he come off last week against Manchester City, I bet them defenders were relieved that he was coming off, because he just bullies you, and he always wants to have that one-on-one race, and he likes a tussle, and he likes to get stuck in as well. So it's going to be an interesting game on Sunday now. Antonio's up a bit more. He's added the fuel to the fire for us.
I said this on I was on Redmen TV, right, and I said this about it came up about Antonio and the way he is. And one thing I've always liked about him is he's not your typical media trained footballer. He doesn't give the political answers, and it works both ways. And I've complained about some of the things he says on his podcasts, before and him having a podcast, but some of the way he is, and the way that can be, sometimes, you rub you up the wrong way of certain things he says, is kind of what I like about him. Is he's not filtered. He's not a media trained footballer. He's just comes across like just a regular bloke. And he didn't come through that academy system. He came through Sunday League and out that way. And I think we've got to remember that. And personalities like him in the game are refreshing, I think.
I agree, mate. And it's a bit like Jack Grealish as well. He's exactly the same. It's like when you listen to these people talk, they're just like fans and they're enjoying playing football and they love playing football. And you're right, Antonio, he comes across as such a good character. And you always, if you look at a player and you think to yourself, could I sit down and have a beer with him? They're a good personality to be around. And I think like he's well liked in the squad, and you see he's got other friends outside football, Callum Wilson, he does that podcast with, so yeah, he's a great personality. And I think as I said, he's been a great sort of servant for this football club. And he's got to produce on Sunday now. He has to.
Yeah. And the thing, I was really surprised when that contract signing came out. Unless I'm just out the loop, but I didn't hear too much about it building up to it. It took me by surprise. Obviously, he was linked moves away quite heavily, like Wolves in January. He was linked with Saudi in the summer and moves. I think another Wolves move. I think Everton were into it. So there's a lot of talk about him moving on. And now, he's been our first choice striker. We didn't sign anyone else, but he's been bona fide first choice and gets a new deal, which takes him up to, I think, 2025, isn't it? So, yeah. I mean, that just, I don't know what changed, whether it was, we weren't going to find another striker to suit us, or we've made him a money offer, or Antonio's also come and said, you know what, I want to see out my career here. I love it here. Won the trophy. Where that change has come from, we want to sign another striker, and we tried. And Antonio might be on his way out, and Antonio wants to go to signing a new deal. What changed? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't see it coming either. It was just like it all got like released that he's just signed a new deal, and I didn't hear no rumours. I have heard, obviously, there have been rumours floating about that there are looking to tie down players to longer contracts, Jared Bowen being one of them. But yeah, the Antonio one just sort of come out of the blue. But I'm actually pleased. I know, and look, I did give him a little bit of stick last season because we were struggling. I felt there was times where he wasn't trying, and he obviously had he was saying all these silly things on the podcast that you don't want to hear when you're in a relegation battle. But I'm quite glad that he's signed a deal. And yeah, if we get a bit of competition in for him now, he might not play as much next season. If we do get another striker in, he might find himself on the bench. But we've been saying that about Antonio for the last 3 or 4 years. But he always seems to be our main striker, and he always seems to dig us out of a hole sometimes, and he does score important goals. So yeah, he's a important player in our squad.
Absolutely. I'll get some comments from the chat, what they think. But yeah, no, you're spot on, mate. Kimbo says nothing wrong with a bit of confidence. I'm glad he believes, and he says I'll have a sneaky tenner 1-2 Antonio to score. Yeah,
there'll be a lot of people backing Antonio this week.
Oh yeah, definitely. You got to. Maybe even some Liverpool fans after hearing that, they might put a little cheeky tenner on it. I love Antonio's comment. He's confident and love that. Says Thunder and Joy. And then James with different opinion. James said, King, do your talking on the pitch, please, Antonio. That's what we want to see. George Sutherland, got to love the positivity from Antonio. Kaz has a different opinion, says back yourself quietly, don't wind up the opposition. And then John also says always best to keep a dignified silence and let your actions speak instead of your words. Of course, But like we said, part of
if we go to Anfield, if we'd have gone to Anfield on Sunday, put in a performance, won, and he scored the winning goal, and then he's come out with that statement after, it probably would have been better because you could say, right, yeah, we've played against them, we can compete against these. I think we can finish higher. But where he said it before, that's what sort of wound a lot of people up.
Yeah, and there's the worry that it ends up making us look silly, and it's just going to get bantered. But if he's not worried about that, then it's fine. But not a gambling man, but I would put a pack of polos on him scoring on Sunday, says Dino. So there you go. Hopefully you can put that down and win 3 packs of polos back, mate.
Do you remember the old fruit polos?
I loved fruit polos. I never liked mint polos. I was all about the fruit polos, man. They were great. They were absolutely brilliant. Although you'd always get too many greens and yellows in them.
Yeah.
Very few reds.
Like the Starburst, you always get the yellow and green ones, didn't you?
Yeah. They clocked onto it in the end, didn't they? And they was like, all right, we're going to release packets of just reds, But yeah, Stu, not Stu, says we hadn't beat Brighton. I love that name. We did. We can do it at Liverpool. Absolutely, Stu, not Stu.
Love it. That's the team talk we need. Things like that.
Yeah.
Everyone's been banging on about Brighton this season. We went there and we beat them on their own turf.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of come down thing last night, didn't they? In Europe, all their fans were, but Aston Villa as well. All their fans were saying they're going to smash the Conference League.
Oh, mate, I love that. I reveled in that they dropped them because we obviously never lost a game, and they had all this kind of West Ham can do it, we can do it, and they learned a lesson there.
There's only one team in claret and blue that can rule the Conference League, and that is West Ham United.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, they're still going to be strong favourites, but it just goes to show they can't take it for granted. They cannot take that competition for granted. But so loved that. Obviously, Brighton as well. They're in our competition, strong favourites. Welcome to Europe.
That's it, mate. That's it.
Love it. Good old Nick says, wish he never said it before playing them. Which, mate, I understand. I understand that completely. Phil Brown says, Antonio is blowing out of his aft after 60 minutes. We need a new striker. I agree. I think Antonio has stepped up this season and will be an important player. But I've always said, and we said this when we've done our buy, keep, sell video. A lot of us said, I think me and you, Ryan, we both said keep him, but we need another striker in, and he's a squad player. Like at his age, squad, and he could be very good squad player. But we can't keep going into having to rely on Antonio as our first choice, like year after year, because he's getting to that age now where he's not able to give it all for 90 minutes.
No, you can see over the past couple of seasons he's lost that extra yard of pace, but he's still quick. Don't get me wrong, but you go back to like 3 or 4 years ago, especially that season where when he went on that scoring run when we stayed up, when David Moyes come back, and he was unplayable that towards the end of that season. He was banging in goals. Man, then we go to Norwich and he scored all 4. It was he was unreal, and he's but I do agree we do need a new out and out striker because Danny Ings is just not doing it. I know that I think David Moyes sort of hinted that Kudus, like I said last week, that he may be playing up front, like he could have a chance up front. I mean, he done all right last night. He had a great header. He was in the right place at the right time to make them score the own goal as well. So you never know.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. We just got to see. Hopefully something's going. Apparently, that Ekitike still wants to sign for West Ham, so that could be a little cheeky January move as well. And Antonio, like I said, could be a good squad player. And see what we do with Danny Ings, because, like you said, mate, he's just. I like him, and I do think he's a good striker, but I just don't think he fits.
I mean, I watched him last night, and if you can't get yourself into the right positions and have chances against teams like Topola, who we played last night, You know, they're the sort of games like that I look at Danny Ings and I think, go and get yourself a goal in that game. You know, maybe Lincoln in the cup. You know, go and get yourself a goal, build up your confidence a bit. Because I think since he's been there, he's only scored what, 2 Premier League goals and 1 in Europe. I think it was. I think, and 2 was in the same game, wasn't it? Was it Nottingham Forest? He got the 2 goals. Can't remember now. I think
feels like a lifetime ago since I've seen him score a goal.
But I know he scored 1 in Europe as well, and it's just not happening for him at the moment. And the longer it goes on, the frustrating it becomes for a striker, and then they start panicking and they start hitting half chances and not concentrating. I mean, Antonio went through the same thing a little while ago, but yeah, it's just not working out for Danny Ings.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, mate. So maybe something will happen in January, but he's one of them. Like, if he stays, I can see him getting like 5 goals this season or so. He'll pop up with a goal here and there. But it's frustrating that he's starting over Mubama. That's the frustrating bit, is Mubama's not getting a look in when Antonio don't play, Ings plays. And I know Ings is on a lot of money. Maybe that's why they're justifying it or what. I just don't know.
I was very surprised that Mubama didn't even feature last night. I thought he would have started, but he didn't even come on as a sub, and he's playing tonight in the under-21. So, yeah, I was very surprised with that because he'd done well for us in Europe last season, and I think that from what I've seen of Mubama so far, I can see him as an ideal replacement for Antonio in the next couple of seasons. He's got that build about him. He's got that personality. He looks like a natural striker who just wants to get in the box, you know. So, yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't play, but hopefully he'll get a start in the League Cup against Lincoln.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it. He needs to. If he's not starting there, then questions have to be asked. Big time. Yeah. But, yeah, obviously last night, you know, you and Scott did the reaction. But, yeah, I was watching the fan cams and everything and talked to people, and there was, like, mixed opinions on Kudus. Some people were quite down on him, and I think it was Nick. I think Nick Tucker's really made a good point about Kudus. Is the team that he's coming into isn't the established first West Ham team, the team that he played in last night. There's a lot. It was very much changed, you know, and he's not playing with our strongest players. So I think to criticize him and judge him so much on that game, because there was like a few passes not coming off. It seemed to be just not on the same wavelength as the players. I think that looked to be the problem.
Yeah,
he was trying, but it weren't coming off.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, it wasn't our full strength team last night. It was quite a strong team. It was stronger than what I thought was Moyes was gonna put out last night. But I suppose, look, you got to get the job done. You know, you win your first 3 games. You know, you almost qualified, didn't you? You sort of, you know, you're going to be up either first or second in the group. But yeah, I mean, for me, Kudus last night, especially first half, it looked like he was over trying a bit. He was trying a bit too much because, look, you can understand that he wants to impress the fans. He wants to get his fitness up, so he's running around like a headless chicken at times. But no, I thought he'd done well. It was nice to see him get his first goal. You see what it meant to him. You know, obviously the first one was ruled out for him, went down as an own goal. But when he got his header, you know, you see him run over to the fans and he was very pleased. But once you put him in a team with like Bowen, Alvarez comes back in, you know, 4-0 for me last night. I mean, we spoke about him on Post-Match Pint last week and we sort of, this is why 4-0 doesn't start for West Ham in the Premier League. Because even last night, he didn't really offer that much. And look, I love 4-0 as a person, but I just don't think, with the players and the squad first team we're trying to build, he doesn't fit into that team. That was Nick Marshy.
Sure, he said it. Maybe it was Marshy. I thought Nick Tucker said it.
Well, you know what I mean? At least you got the name right. It was a Nick, but we don't know what Nick it was.
I thought it was a Nick without the C, but it was the Nick with the C, not the Nick that is a C. Yeah, I'm joking, Nick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, Ward-Prowse last night, another 2 assists. Yeah, do you know what? I'm actually going to see if I can get in contact with his mum and see if I can see the birthing video, because I'm sure he assisted his own birth. That's how good he is. You know, he's just unreal. Like, what a player we've got. You know, it's nice to have someone like him. And we got a free kick outside the box last night, and everyone was on the edge of their seats. but no, it didn't come off. It hit the wall and went over. But there was a few good performances. Mavropanos last night got his first run out in a West Ham shirt. Looked very solid. I think I was looking at him. Ogbonna made that mistake, but Ogbonna's been a great servant for us. He come out, he apologised for it. He's proper West Ham. He loves the club. I'm not going to hold that against him last night. I think it was actually good that we went 1-0 down, because I think it just gave us that little bit of spark.
Sense of urgency.
We're taking the game. Yeah, we've got to take our chances. I think it was good that we went 1-0 down.
Yeah. I think that's it. You look at that team and the way they set up. They defensively, they were well organised and well drilled, and we had to do what teams have had to do against us. We've had to find a way to break them down.
Well, we had 78. Yeah, we had 78% possession last night and 20 odd shots. And I said to Scott, I thought I was looking at the Man City stats from Saturday. And this is the thing. We have got the players to break teams down. Paqueta last night was getting very frustrated, especially in the first half. Ben Rama, he had a mixed game, but he's like, that defender just carried on sliding, and he actually went off injured.
Yeah. First half, him and Paqueta were quite frustrating in the first half. I thought Paqueta really, a lot of the things he was doing weren't coming off, but Ben Rama in the second half really stepped up, and he was brilliant. And there's lots of people talking about, Ben Rama, he can't count that as an assist for an own goal. Ben Rama, whether you count it as an assist or not, should get massive, massive credit in making that goal happen, that own goal, because what he did was unbelievable. That's what we love to see from Ben Rama. And it was absolute quality.
Mate, he dropped his shoulder, he cut it back, and that defender was just like, because he was in front of us, he just carried on sliding on the wet pitch. I think he went off with embarrassment. I don't think he was injured. I think he just went off with embarrassment, because he might as well have gone up the shop and got everyone around the beers, because he was you're right. Ben Rama's done the hard work, he's put it in the box, and look, it's gone in. So it does go down as an assist, whether they knocked it in or not. But
Phil makes an interesting point here, that he looked better once Emerson came off. You said in the post-match about Creswell, not up to speed, didn't look great, but Emerson, maybe that's a difference maker.
Yeah, Creswell obviously it was his first start of the season. Yeah, it looked a bit rusty, yeah. But when Emerson come on, like I said, I've been very impressed with Emerson, and he just made a difference down the left. He likes to get forward, but the good thing is with Emerson is that when he gets forward, he's actually a skillful player, and you see the little 1-2s he does, especially with Paqueta. They love each other. They love playing with each other, and it's good. Yeah, there was as I said, I thought Kera looked all right at right back last night. I think with Soufal's performance last week, we might see. Well, we won't see Kera start at Anfield, but he hasn't done himself any harm. But he looked comfortable there.
It's good to know that we've got that option there, because we're going to have a lot of football to play, and having to play Soufal every week is not going to be ideal.
So I'll just see someone there saying Bowen's out till Christmas. Bowen was training today. Bowen's in the squad.
No way, that's can't.
Yeah, Bowen was training. Bowen weren't there last night because he had food poisoning. He's been ill all week, so they left him at home. I hope that ain't true. He's saying from a club inside. I don't know if there's been any breaking news, but he was training today, and he's back in the squad for Sunday. So yeah. That'd be a massive blow if it is, but I don't think. I'm sure that's a little bit of a wind up. Please be a wind up anyway.
Yeah, because that'd be a massive blow. We'll talk a bit about obviously the Liverpool game. I have not seen anything come up. So if anyone else has heard anything, let us know in the chat. But yeah, I think with Mavropanos, super impressive. I'm trying not to get too carried away, because I want to see him do it against Premier League opposition. If he can put in that performance against Premier League opposition, Aguerd needs to look over his shoulder, because if anyone's position is up for grabs, it's his at the moment, because as good as he is, he's had a few mistakes in him, and Zuma's been unbelievable. So, yeah, I want to see more from Mavropanos for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I watching him last night, and he looked very comfortable in his first game. Nothing stupid, simple. Gets the ball, plays the right balls. Nothing. As I said, nothing silly at the back. So I could see him playing alongside Zuma. If we ever had to switch to a back three and we had to play like Aguerd, Zuma, and Mavropanos, it'd be a very solid back three because. One thing about Aguerd, he's a great defender. He's just that when he comes up against someone who's a bit more physical, because he's a bit lightweight, he gets bullied a bit. And I mean, Mavropanos is like he's quite a big bloke. Like he's tall, he's quite well built. And him and Zuma at the back. You're gonna strikers definitely know they're going to be in for a tough game when they come up against them two. And just with the pace of Emerson down the left and. Look, Soufal, I do like defending wise. I do like Soufal. Sometimes going forward, he sort of panics a bit, but if he can get back to a little bit of form, I think we'll have a solid back four for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, my mate Dan Potts is an Arsenal fan. Really rated Mavropanos when he had him, and it's basically just unfortunate. Injuries coming in at the wrong time, and things like that. Every time he'd get a moment, he'd get injured or get, a red card or something. So for them to say that, I think, it speaks volumes, and I think we've got a good player on our hands there. And yeah, it's good. It's good sign for us. We want that strength in depth and we need it desperately. But yeah, a lot of people are saying that Bowen is out with a virus. In terms of Alvarez, this is what I started this because I want to know the answer to this. And Alvarez, I've not heard too much news on Alvarez, how he's doing after the Man City game, because he's massively important.
He's fine. He was. A lot of people didn't realise he was suspended last night. He had a suspension that he had one game left in a European ban from Ajax. So that's the reason why he didn't play. He's been training today. He went off last week with cramp. It was a bit of fatigue and cramp. You got to think he had a long flight back from international duty, and it just caught up with him. But yeah, Alvarez was suspended last night. He was training. He's been training all week. So, yeah, I'm sure he'll be back straight into the first team on Sunday.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Before we get into Liverpool game, Scott Wilson says, I'll get this question. Boys, where do you think we'll finish in the Premier League and how far in the Cups on what we've seen so far? We did do a season predictions video that is out there. I said 9th at the time, and Ryan, you said
what we said.
we all say 9th.
I think we was all between 10th, 9th, and 8th. I think something like that.
Yeah.
But
Has it changed like since the start of the season?
7th.
You know what? That's exactly what I've said. 7th.
Gone up a place.
I went from 9th to 7th, and I've done predictions on other channels and said 7th, so I'm going to stick with 7th. I've said that I think people probably, and this includes, underestimated us and overestimated Villa and Brighton, and Chelsea might not recover.
Yeah, I said it that now that Villa and Brighton are playing European football, the Thursday and Sunday games, it will catch up with them eventually. I mean, they've both had a good start to the season, but now European football is involved. They will realise that they're going to pick up injuries on the Thursday and players ain't going to be available at the weekend where they were so used to playing one game a week. Now it does catch up with you, and it is tough. And we know that. We know how tough it is. Like, you can have a good game on a Thursday, but then come Sunday when you're straight back into Premier League action, it's tough.
Yeah. Absolutely, mate. And then he said the other second part was, how far do you think we'll go in the Cups? It's so hard to predict because you don't know who you're going to draw, do you? It's all luck of the draw, half of it.
It's the luck of the draw. But I'd like to see us have a good run in the League Cup. I'd like to see us have obviously a stab at the FA Cup. Got a taste for the trophies now. Like, I waited 39 years. I waited for a trophy at West Ham, so now I've got a taste for it. But I'd love to see us have a day out of Wembley in one of the domestic cup finals. But yeah, and have a great run in Europe as well. I want to get to the next stage. I want to progress, and I want to play the big teams in the quarters and the semis again. And yeah, it's just a lot of games, and that's why the squad is so important.
Yeah. I can see us in one competition getting to at least another semi. Quarters minimum, at least in one of the competitions win. But again, predicting, we're going to get to this stage or we're going to win this trophy without seeing the route, it's really hard to say. But Joel Eaton with a £2 super chat. Thank you very much, Joel. Seems to be an Arsenal fan. Says, hey lads, would you say Odegaard is on Ozil's level? Oh, that's a tough question. Obviously, this is an Arsenal-based question. I think it might be too early. Odegaard's looking really good. For me, probably too early to say. Ozil really fizzled out towards the end of his career, but at his peak, he was excellent. He was world-class at his peak. Is it too early to say that Odegaard is world-class? I think so. I wouldn't quite put him there.
Yeah, look, Ozil was a brilliant player for Madrid and for Arsenal. He was another assist king. He loved an assist. But yeah, look, Odegaard's a brilliant player. It's a big responsibility in being captain of Arsenal at a young age. And I like the look of him. I think what Arsenal are doing at the moment, you look at what they're building now. I definitely think he's a big part of their future. And yeah, he's a great player. But Ozil at the moment, I wouldn't say looking at Ozil when he was Odegaard's age, it's a tough one to call, but Ozil, what a great player Ozil was in his prime, and Odegaard as well. Odegaard's got so much more potential to give, and that's the frightening thing because he's really good at the moment, but he can go another 1 or 2 levels.
Yeah, and that's the thing. With a lot of people, obviously, are saying, yeah, he's better than Ozil, I think it's easy to think about Ozil in his last few years, because that's usually the recency that comes into it. And you remember how just unimpressive and mediocre his career was and how he fizzled out. But they said when he was in them Real Madrid days and then first few seasons at Arsenal, he was world class. He really was. And I think the way his career went, people forget it because he just didn't finish at an elite level. He seemed to fade out.
He sort of faded out, didn't he? Did he end up going to Turkey, didn't he? And he faded away, didn't he?
Yeah, didn't he go to, was it Fenerbahce or something? You just didn't hear from him after that.
Yeah.
So, thanks for the super chat. That was an interesting question, from a neutral standpoint. But yeah, so Liverpool, Sunday. I thought it was Saturday, but it's Sunday, 2:00. Big game. I agree with Kimbo, by the way, on this comment. Don't worry, Ryan. Trophies are like buses, mate. Ain't no stopping us now. I hope they are, mate. Give me 2 trophies in a row.
Imagine that.
But yeah, mate. It's we touched a little bit on it, but it's a big game. 6-pointer, Antonio called it. Obviously, going up to Anfield is tough. But are you feeling confident?
Yeah, look, I'm confident that we can go there and give them a game. I think the last couple of times we've been there have been unlucky. I remember last season we lost 1-0, didn't we? And Bowen missed a penalty. But yeah, look, I watched Liverpool last week against Wolves, and as I said, they were there for the taking in the first half. It was only poor finishing from Wolves. I think it was Kudus that had that header at the back post where he just sort of misjudged it and it hit his chest. But if that goes in, it's 2-0 before half time, and then Liverpool have got a real game on it. It'd have been tough for them to come back. But yeah, look, you can't. When you look at Liverpool's team and their squad, the players that they've got, Gakpo, McAllister, Salah, and then you look at their bench, Diaz, Nunes, Harvey Elliott, Konate, they've got such a good team. But I think if there's anywhere where we're going to beat Liverpool and how we're going to hurt Liverpool is at the back and getting them set pieces right. We get the corners, we get the free kicks, and we just got to take advantage of them, because I think that is one thing I would say about Liverpool. They're a bit suspect at the back this season. Even though they've got quality defenders, I've watched them this season. I think they've had to come from behind 3 times this season, or to win games. And as I said, they're on a good run. They're unbeaten in their last 16 Premier League games. So they're going to be tough. And it doesn't matter what Liverpool team you face at Anfield. You know, Anfield's a tough place to go. It's intimidating for some players. The occasion can sometimes get to the players. But yeah, no, I'm confident that we can go there and give them a game. And look, if you offered me a point now, of course I'd take it. A point at Anfield's a massive point. But as I said, who knows? This is the Premier League. We could go there, turn up on the day and put in a good performance and maybe walking out of Anfield with all 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's huge. Edward Turner's comment here just reminded me of the Ozil chant. We used to say his eyes are offside. I completely forgot that, but great comment. But Steve says, Steve Bell, good old Steve Bell, $4.99 super chat says, "Hi lads, honestly think we can get something out of this. Not all that at the back. Yeah, even like you look at someone like Van Dijk, who's been world class for Liverpool. He's just not been the same. He's not been up to his usual standards his past couple of seasons. So, you know, there's mistakes there that can be exploited.
Yeah, they've got. I think Robinson's looked really good this season. He scored last week. It was a great finish. Obviously, they've got Matip at the back as well. But yeah, you're right. Van Dijk hasn't been like he was a couple of seasons ago, especially that season when they won the league. He was unreal. I don't think he lost at Anfield for what was it like 60 or 70 games or something like that. When it was ridiculous. But yeah. I think if there's one that is one, and we will set up the same as what we did when we went to Brighton and when we played against Chelsea. We will sit back and we'll invite them on. But you've got to be very careful because their forward line is dangerous. You know, whatever forward three they put out, especially when you've got Mo Salah in your team. You know, and he loves a game against West Ham. I think in 12 games in his last 12 games or 14 games or whatever it is, he's got a goal or assist in every single game. So he loves playing against West Ham. So it's something that we need to look out for. But yeah, I was going to say Van Dijk because he didn't play last week. Is this his second game? He got a straight red, didn't he, the other week?
I literally just done a Liverpool preview earlier, and they put the lineup out, and they never mentioned it. Like, so they're going to get a nasty shock when they see the team sheet on Sunday. But yeah, so that's good. And Trent isn't available as well. Who he usually plays really well against us, Trent.
Yeah, and he's got a new position, isn't he? He plays in midfield now, so.
He's been really good there as well. He's been a revelation there.
Yeah, Anfield. I've been to Anfield a few times, and it's an iconic. It's obviously changed over the years. They've built the stands up and that now. But look, when they just before the start of the game, you know, and the whole stadium is singing "You Never Walk Alone." I don't care who you support. It gives you hairs on the back of your neck when you're in the stadium. And you witness it. It's quiet after that. Once they sing that, that's it. They only make noise after they score. But it's it's a great place to go. You know, I just hope that we can get. It'd be lovely to get a win now, especially with we've got Sheffield United coming up next week. Obviously, we've got Lincoln in the cup as well. So it'd be a massive boost to. No, look, Steve just said, "Was you there for the 3-0?" I didn't. Graham went.
Yeah, I remember.
I let Graham go, and we went 3-0. And he was around. Yep. He was around in the days when we used to win there in the 50s and 60s. So, I was so gutted I missed that day, but I watched it in the pub. But yeah,
it's a great chance. We got Edward Turner says $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Edward. Liverpool showing us a lot of respect, resting a lot of their starting 11 yesterday. A lot of teams worried playing us again. It's a good feeling, mate. It's a great feeling when teams do that.
It's because they'll look at our squad and they'll look at our team and they'll look at some of the players we've got and they know that like Ward-Prowse gets a corner or a free kick. You know, we've got the big boys up from like Zuma and Aguerd, Souček that get forward. So teams will study us a lot more this season because they know that even like you've only got to look at the game against Brighton and look how once we got on the counter attack, you know, they couldn't keep up with us, and we scored three quality goals that day. Same against Chelsea as well. So they know we're a threat, but we just need to make sure that we're on point, and we've got to keep their players quiet, and we just got to take advantage anytime we get a chance, because you don't get many chances when you go to places like Anfield. Anytime you go to one of these top 4 clubs, it's rare you get that many chances. But David Moyes has got a terrible record against the so-called top 4, top 6. So let's hope that he can end that. He ended our trophy drought. Let's hope that he can end his losing streak against top 4 teams.
Yeah. Well, it looks like El Chico got us excited for nothing. Apparently, Van Dijk is available to play on Sunday. Ah, shit.
Might be a good thing, though. Might be a good thing for us. As Lee's just said there, he's lost a lot of pace since he done his ACL injury a couple of years ago. But yeah.
It'll
be interesting.
All right, let's talk about our lineup then. Obviously, we usually do this on the preview. This is in place of the preview, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, mate. You said you see us setting up very similar to those other teams. What do you think we should play, and what do you think we will play? You know,
I mean, we set up last week, didn't we, against City with Souček and Alvarez in midfield, and then you had sort of Bowen, Ward-Prowse, and Paqueta in front of them. I want to see us go back to. I want to see us give Liverpool a game, and I know that Souček will probably come back in, but for me personally, I want to go back to having Alvarez just sitting behind Ward-Prowse and Paqueta in midfield, and then Bowen. I've lost it. Oh, am I thinking? Bowen, Benrahma, Antonio.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? I'm missing someone, anyway.
Kudus.
No, who am I missing? I'm trying to think of the format. Hang on.
Ward-Prowse.
Did I say Ward-Prowse? My mind's gone blank. Hang on. Hang on, 2 seconds. Yeah, so Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, Bowen, Benrahma, Antonio. So you have the 2 sitting, the 3 go across, and Antonio up top. My mind just went completely blank then. I lost.
Yeah.
We've got so many players. I'm trying to fit everyone in. But look,
same back 4, yeah? Stick with the same back 4.
Yeah, Soufal, Zuma, Aguerd, and Emerson at the back. I think Areola comes back in goal, obviously. But do you know what? It would not surprise me if Moyes threw a little spanner in the works on Sunday and maybe dropped Benrahma and maybe started Kudus on the left, bringing him in. So it wouldn't surprise me, but I can just see Souček coming back in as well. So it's going to be interesting. But I think whatever team we put out, I think it'll be strong enough to give Liverpool a game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I kind of agree. But I mean, I do think I can see Souček starting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shock people here, but I kind of agree with it in a way against this team at Anfield, just because of his ability to break up play, his ability to attack set pieces, defend set pieces. We've got Ward-Prowse there to link the defence to midfield with his passing ability. And, it being much better on the ball. So he, if everything's going through Ward-Prowse and we just have Souček there to run around, be a nuisance for this type of game where it's at Anfield, they're going to have a lot of the ball. I kind of agree with that, and I wouldn't be mad to see Souček start, even though I feel like most of the season I don't want to see it, and I do want to move to having like him out and Kudus in, and like I said, Benrahma, who I'm a big fan of, defended a lot. Love Benrahma. So yeah, it's going to be tricky, but look, we've got the players there. We've got some. Yeah,
we'll probably set up the same as what we did last week against Man City. I think it'll probably be the same team, the same starting 11 with Souček and Alvarez sitting in midfield, and then Bowen, Ward-Prowse, and Paqueta on the left, which I wasn't overly impressed with him. I prefer him more in the middle, but yeah, I think that I think you're right. I think Souček will come back in, but as I said, any team we put out, I think is going to be strong enough to give them a game.
Yeah, that's it. And it's going to be, counter attacking is what is how we're going to sort of hurt Liverpool. Obviously, set pieces as well. Set pieces come on from those counter attacks, but we've got to be switched on and be quick and decisive with the passes and take our chances, because we're not going to get loads. We're going to obviously invite Liverpool on, but we can't just sit and camp on the edge of our area. We have to give them something to worry about at the back, so they can't just stick all their players and just pin us back. We have to give them the thought of, the ball could be coming back at any minute, leave some bodies back, and that's, I think how we can do it. And look, Ward-Prowse, like I said, he's scored or assisted in every game. No reason why he can't in this game, and I'm backing him to... I can see him assisting an Antonio goal. I'm prediction wise, I'm going 1-1. Like, seriously, that's what I really think. I think Ward-Prowse assist, Antonio goal. He has a great celebration. I think we'd score first, and then Liverpool come back. They've got a great record coming back from 1-0 down. So I would love to say a win. I can't quite go there, so I'm going to say a draw 1-1.
Yeah, funny enough, I went for I don't know, I'll do a prediction thing, and I went for 1-1 as well. I said exactly. I think that it could be a game where we maybe go 1-0 up, and then Liverpool get a late equaliser or something like that, or a dodgy penalty or VAR decision goes against us. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a good, entertaining game. Some good games on Sunday as well. You've obviously got the North London derby as well, which kicks off the same time as us, which gutted with that because I wanted to watch that game. But obviously I'll be up at Anfield, so I'll maybe watch the highlights in the car on the way back. But I'm looking forward to it. And if we can get a point, I'm happy. But if we get 3 points, I'll be absolutely buzzing over the moon. It'll be let's hope that our boys are up for it, especially Antonio.
Yeah, 100%, mate. We'll end on this question. Is Bowen going to sign a new contract? Obviously, there've been a lot of negotiations. He ain't signed one yet. They're still talking. Obviously, one of our most important players. I think he wants, to be paid in line with being one of our most important players, and they haven't quite reached that valuation yet. Are you worried, or do you think, he'll sign it?
No, I think he'll sign a new deal. I mean, look, contracts these days don't really mean much, do they? But no, I think that he will sign a new deal. It'd be nice if he gets a nice long 4 or 5 year deal, gets the money he's worth. But he's an important player for us. I said it a few weeks ago when me and Nicky was saying, I think all round, I think he's our best player, like important wise. I think what he offers the team, his work rate. No, I'm not saying he's not nowhere near the skill level of like Paqueta and players like that. But as an important player, I just love Jarrod Bowen. And I think that ever since he signed for the club, he's been brilliant for us. And obviously, he scored the winning goal in the cup final last season, so he'll always be in our history. I think they will get a deal done, and it'd be nice if they announce it sort of next week, and it gives everyone a boost. But,
I want a good announcement like the Carl Walker. I want something fancy. I want the media team to have some fun with it.
Yeah. There's probably a few ideas that you could do playing off his song, but I don't think the kids are I don't think kids will be able to watch it.
No, exactly.
But that signing a contract during a sex scene with Jarrod Bowen, why he's on fire.
No, you know what? They could do something funny like Bowen's on fire, and Danny Dyer, the dad Danny Dyer comes in and make go.
All day goes, "Oh, you slag, sign the contract."
yeah, exactly. Oh, no, they got to do it. Like I said, I'm not stressing about it at this point. I think he's happy. I think he's settled. He's playing good football, and I think the club. I think Moyes obviously really rates him, really sees the value in him. I think it'll get done. So there's your answer to your question, mate. But yeah, so some people, he's been linked with Liverpool quite a bit. Obviously, this Arsenal fan says Arsenal fan, and he'll leave next summer for Salah's replacement. And it would be interesting.
I can see why he's being linked with some of these clubs, because he's one of the best players outside the top six. You know, he's a natural. The way teams set up, he would fit into a lot of teams. The way they play, like you said there, Liverpool, he could easily slot into that team with the way Jurgen Klopp sets up and the way he plays. Because, you know, Bowen likes to stay out on the right, but he likes to drift in on the left and hit the shot or hit the cross. So, yeah, he's. I think there might be a few clubs interested in him in the summer. So if he knows that some of these big clubs are sniffing around, he might not want to sign the contract. So it's
listen, if Liverpool get 200 million for Salah and they're coming for Bowen, best believe we're asking for crazy money. Yeah, because we're going to know what they've got to work with. So if he signs a new deal and they want to come into him, 100 million at least for Bowen. That's what I'm saying. Personally, we know you got the money.
Yeah, the way football is now, mate, it's not a crazy price to ask.
Yeah. And what it comes down, and this is, you know, people go, oh, the prices, you know, and yeah, the prices are crazy. But, you know, back in the day, clubs like West Ham, clubs like Brighton, Villas, all of that needed to sell players to balance the books and things like that. Now we don't need to sell Bowen. We will be just fine if we don't get that Bowen money. We can live without it. But if you want us to part with him, we're going to ask for crazy money. We know you got £200 million for just one player sitting in the bank. Cough it up.
It seems like £100 million now is the new £10 million. Like, you go back 10 years ago when teams were paying 10 million, everyone was like, "Whoa, that's too much." Now,
yeah,
I remember when everyone went crazy when Alan Shearer went for the world record 15 million at that time when he went to Newcastle.
Yeah,
that's mad.
Yeah,
15 million.
I remember when Jarvis was our record signing about 10, 11 million, wasn't it? Like, he was our record transfer.
I remember the days when we signed Don Hutchinson for 5 million and everyone was like, "Whoa, crazy money. Where are we getting this money from?" But yeah, football's gone mad, and give it another 10 years and players will be going for a lot more. It's crazy.
Football inflation is crazy. But yeah, people say, look, Bowen's nowhere near Salah. I know he's not as good as Salah, but
we're not comparing the players. No. Salah is
that doesn't make Bowen any less of a good signing for them. I'm not trying to sell Bowen, but you know, the same way with us, and this is what I said to a Liverpool fan. You know, you're not gonna be able to sign a player in that position that is as good as Salah. You're just not. You have to accept that position will be weaker once Salah goes. But what you can do, like West Ham, use that money and strengthen the team as a whole. So sign that player that's as close to the quality of what Salah was as possible, and then strengthen like your defense and your midfield and all of that. And all of a sudden you have a better team without Salah than you did with Salah, like we've done with Declan Rice.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, as I said, we're not comparing the two players. Mo Salah's been world class for a long time now, and he's going to be very hard to replace when he does eventually leave Liverpool, which probably looks likely. It might be January. It will definitely be next summer, and it'll be a huge loss. But as you can see, like with Declan Rice leaving West Ham and Harry Kane leaving Tottenham, you can get better when your best players leave.
Yeah,
it's about what you do with the money. As long as you bring in the right players, you can be better. Yes, they'll be missed, and they are. Like, for me, like you'd love to have had Declan Rice in this team and sign these players as well, but we're not in that position to do that as a football club. So we had to do it just like Tottenham had to do it, and Tottenham are obviously playing well under Postecoglou, and we're playing. We look much better as a team without Declan Rice. So
yeah. This question here, how much do you think Bowen is worth? I think how much players are worth nowadays is so irrelevant because players never go for what they're worth. It's how much you can get and how much a team's willing to pay. And I think in this current market, it's possible for us to get 100 million for Bowen. Now, the situations have to be right. Liverpool sell Salah. They get all that money in. They want to get a replacement in quick. They want to get the deal done quick. Then you can get that sort of money in. Otherwise, we shouldn't be taking any less for Bowen than 70 million, in my opinion.
If you look at it as what Bowen's worth in true value, I say between 65 and 80 million. That's what I'd say between that. But when you know what clubs have got, a bit like us, when people knew what we had with Declan Rice money, they're gonna ask for more money. Look at Fulham when we was linked with Paulinho, and they wanted 60, 70 million for him, didn't they? Like even more, I think it was like 80, 90.
It went up to like 90, didn't it? In the end.
It's because they know we've got the money. So it's it's just football's gone mad. But looking forward to that.
What players would you take from Chelsea when they get relegated?
I'll tell you what, it's mad when you look at that Premier League table and you see Man United and Chelsea in like 14th, 13th, or 14th and 15th, whatever it is. And I said this on the show I done the other day, the Premier League show that I've done. Like little plug there for the new show. Talking all Premier League. When you look at, I can't believe that Chelsea have spent that much money and somehow they haven't gone out and got a world-class striker or a natural number 9. Because I look at their team and they've got Jackson up front. And look, he looks like a decent player, but you don't go and spend that much money and not have a world-class striker in your team. And their bench on Sunday against Bournemouth, they had 6 out of the 9 were kids. I know they've got injuries as well, but you spent that much money and they don't look any better. And I looked at their fixtures coming up and they've got Aston Villa this weekend and they could struggle this season. Last season, they finished 12th. This season, they haven't even got Europe. But Pochettino needs to turn it around because you know what Chelsea are like. I bet somewhere Frank Lampard's sitting there. He said, "Don't chuck that Chelsea tracksuit away, Christine. I might need that." Chelsea might come calling again. He might find himself back at Chelsea for the 3rd time.
Put him behind a glass in case of emergency. Break glass. Get Lampard out. Get him out.
It's something different. Because obviously we talk about West Ham all the time. And, get to talk about different Premier League clubs. I need to think of a name for the show though. But like the Unbiased Premier League show is a bit. I think someone mentioned it as well. And it's not saying it was just a pilot show, but I will try to think of a name for it. Try to have a play with words and do it Premier League. But before we go, mate, one thing we have got coming up in 2 weeks' time, the next European game, we are at the Brewdog Pub in Upminster. An evening with James Collins. It's the night that we play Freiburg away. Obviously, no fans can go to the game. So they will be showing the game, 5:45 kickoff. And then I think the James Collins night starts straight after. After this video finishes, I will put the ticket link in the description below or in the comment section. I'll pin it to the top. So you can go in there. There's not many tickets left now. We're really looking forward to it. A night with James Collins and us and watching the game. Hopefully we'll have a good result so we can talk about the game. But it'll be a really good night. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, look, and that's it. Upminster, easy to get to. You've got the district line there. You've got the railway system that goes from Romford, C2C, exactly. So plenty of traffic.
Literally, the pub is literally next door to the station. You come out of the station and it's right there. So we met the bloke last night before the game who's organising it, and it's all coming together nicely. So we're looking forward to it. It should be a really good night.
Yeah, come down, meet Ginger.
And as well, when we was with the bloke, we said to him, "Oh, look, do us a favour. Ask James Collins, you've got to be very careful what you talk about." He said, just find out if there's anything you don't want to talk about. His reply was, "No, I'm happy to talk about anything. I'm looking forward to the night. It'll be an open night. Looking forward to seeing the fans." So it'd be good to get because you're going to have a Q&A with him as well. So come down if you're available. Get down there early, watch the game. If not, if you live local, watch the game at home and then come down the pub after. Be good.
Yeah. Have a drink with us. Yeah. As we've seen that.
Yeah, you got to remember it's all Brewdog beer, so it's a little bit stronger. And there's one there called Elvis juice that I want to try. It's like 6.4% or something like that. So a couple of them, I'll be fucking getting in a cab home, I think, after about half hour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So listen, and we had a big party up at Friday Pint Live and Friday Night Pint Live. So if people have been asking us about friends, Steve says in the chat, Friday Night Pint Live.
You know what? We are looking at potential dates for that. It's just getting everyone together before. We want to try to do it before Christmas. We're looking around the end of November. There is actually a Friday, but England play Malta on that Friday. So we're either thinking of maybe moving it to the Saturday and just calling it Saturday Night Pint for one time only. But it'd be the same thing, but just on a Saturday. So we'll work something out. There are definitely plans for a Friday Night Pint too, 100%, and we will definitely get one done this season at some point.
Come down, Amadred. You and Scott can talk business. You can talk the pest control industry.
Oh yeah. Scott does, doesn't he? He loves all that.
Yeah. You and Scott can
at least we know it's going to be a clean boozer then. Apparently, they've got a really nice rooftop bar there as well, because the bloke was saying about maybe doing something in the summer there as well. So
nice. That's it. Like if you've been, really wanting a Friday Night Pint Live to see this as the sort of that sort of little half mini Friday Night Pint Live, it's going to be, obviously Collins is going to be there. Last time, obviously, we was with, who did we have on stage with us? We had flipping, John, Walker. And we had a laugh and we had drinks. We got to meet everyone. So it's going to be not too different. Obviously, the focus is going to be all on Collins, but
you got to remember as well, when we done that, it was just after COVID, so a lot of people were still worried about coming to events. So this time it'll be, and we'll be able to drop the ticket prices a bit more and get as many people as we can in there, pack it out, have a laugh, get a few try to get maybe 1 or 2 ex-players to join us, be in the audience, and maybe get them up on stage. But FNP's about us. The Brewdog Night is all about Ginger Pele. Come and see a cult hero.
Exactly. So nice one, mate. Well, listen, it was a good show. Just the two of us.
Yeah, two. Yeah, we should have got some candles out and had a little romantic meal. Meal for 2.
I've got my dinner in a carrier bag sitting there from the Chinese.
Oh, mate. And I bet you can smell it as well. I bet you're hungry. I couldn't handle that.
Oh yeah. It's definitely been teasing me.
Oh,
but we'll get on it. So listen, everyone, thank you so much for watching. On your way out, leave your thumbs up, get us over 100. That would be very appreciated. And come and watch all the match day content for the Liverpool game. Me and Jace will be doing a watch along. Ryan, like I said, will be up there, fan cams and post-match reactions and all sorts of bits and pieces. So thank you for all your comments, super chats, normal chats. We had a great one. And yes, we will see you over the weekend. One thing left to say.